Our life is filled with bumps. It is. Except if you think your life is the bump rather than it's a bump in your life, then you'll never get back up.
So did you ever have like any, like while on your come up, any major like setbacks or, things just didn't go well? And
Have I ever had major setbacks?
And how to rebuild?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Of course. Early on in my career, I told you I got married very early on. That
Right.
marriage lasted 6 months, and it wasn't that there was anything wrong with the marriage. We just weren't suited for each other. We were
Right.
both 21. I wanted this big, huge career. She wanted a guy that worked 9 to 5 and didn't talk about work on the weekends, and that's not me.
Yeah.
This is my life. This isn't work.
Yeah.
The next woman that I married, we were married for 11 months, and the divorce took 4.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And during that time that I was going through that, I was getting attacked by the government for something that I hadn't done. They were threatening to throw me in prison for 27 years.
Wow.
And they offered me a misdemeanor, a slap on the hands, and I said I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to take any kind of account.
Yeah.
And so they took me to trial, and I was exonerated, 100% exonerated, except that was a massive battle that lasted many, many years.
Right.
I'm going through the divorce. I'm going through that thing. I'm dating the girlfriend from hell that is not only stealing from me, literally robbing me, reaching in my pocket and pulling out cash. She's also cheating on me on a regular basis.
Wow.
And yet my self-esteem at that time was so low. I thought, gosh, if I can't win her over, how could I win anybody quality over?
Right.
And then I had one person that I counted on. She was actually running my company. She was my bookkeeper. She was running the company for me. And she would sit and console me every single morning for a couple of years. Unbeknownst to me, simultaneously, she was embezzling over $1 million. And so
Wow.
at one point, I just said, you know what, one fire at a time. One fire at a time. I went to the girlfriend from hell. I said, we're done. Don't want to see you anymore. Went to the judge that was overseeing my divorce, which, by the way, he was dating behind my back the woman I was divorcing. That's why the divorce was taking so long. I was paying her attorney's fees, my attorney's fees. I was paying her spousal support, and the judge was dating her. And I went to him and I said, look, you can throw me in jail for contempt. I'm not paying any more money. Tell them to pick a number, settle it today. They picked a number that day. I just one by one put out those fires.
Yeah.
And there's an expression, fall down 9, stand up 10.
Right.
And that's all I can say is that, our life is filled with bumps. It is. Except if you think your life is the bump rather than it's a bump in your life, then you'll never get back up. With your last breath, get back up. So on your last breath, you can say, I never, ever stayed down.
Wow. That's insane. So, after that, how did you go and, so you put out all the fires, all the problems were solved. How did you go and rebuild and build momentum and, get to that next level? Because I feel like a lot of people, they have those things happen. Even when they solve the problem, mentally up here, it kind of long-term disturbs or slows down their success or lowers their confidence where they don't believe, that they have that certainty to get to where they want to be.
I made my first millions in my early 30s. I produced some stuff that worked really, really well, and I made many millions of dollars and went from a nice 6-figure income to a strong 8-figure income, almost
Right.
overnight. And I made that fortune, and it wasn't wise, and I lost that fortune. And I made the fortune again, and I wasn't wise. I married the wrong person, and I lost that whole fortune.
Right.
And then I made a fortune again, and the economy just went sideways.
Right.
And I was heavily invested in a lot of real estate, and it went sideways, and so I found myself broke again, or at least kind of broke. We had the beach house, we had my place in Vegas, yet it was tight.
Yeah.
My beautiful bride that met me when I was rolling large, she said, you know what, sell everything, honey. Sell the houses, we don't need more than one car. Let's go live in a studio apartment with the boys, my 2 boys. She said, sell everything. And it was in that moment that I looked into my girl's eyes, my wife's eyes, and I realized that maybe that was the lesson there. That I needed to know she loved me. That it wasn't the money that ever brought her around. And
Right.
nothing could have been more true for me to experience that. So I think, finding our lives less than perfect is a waste of time. No matter
Right.
where we are, that's where we are. It is what it is. Very zen. And so for me, and this certainly has come with the experience of having money and then not having money and having money and not having money. I'm not attached to either state.
Right.
This is awesome. Thank you, God. I appreciate this. I'm very grateful for this. Yet I also know that ultimately this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This big life we live doesn't matter. This is what matters.
Right.
You and I treating each other with respect. You and I having some compassion for each other and say,
Right.
hey, how can I serve you? How can
Right.
I help you out? Being able to provide for my family, that's my thing. That's the most important thing. Knowing that I'm raising good kids, knowing that my wife feels adored and respected and appreciated every single moment. Ultimately, that's what's going to matter.
Right.
People matter.
100%.